Hello guys and welcome to tonight's racing action here at the Nurburgring in GP circuit for round number 10 of the Ginetta Evolution, here for round 2 of the GT3 section of this, and as you can see it is bucketing it down with rain. I'm Jim, as always, going to be here with you for the race today. Pet Biv is still in the pit lane and we have a few technical issues with our co-commentator, or with our other commentator Ethan, who should be here.
Hello.
Ethan.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome all to Nurburgring. I will be there joining just in a second with the session, but welcome. I hope everyone is doing absolutely brilliantly in these tough times. But yeah, it should be a great race here today at the Nurburgring GP. It's quite a classical track here with Formula 1, with many different other series of GT3s and everything. So this should be a great race with the Ginetta Evolutions. We're now in the GT3s. We've gone from the GT4s now to the GT3s. So it's good. It should be a fantastic race, I think. What do you think, James? This is your first race with the GTEs now. GT3s.
Yeah, it should be a really good race. Hope it should be quick. Hope everyone's quick, and hope this is good today. But the weather for a race, just to say, is light rain going into overcast. So that should be fun.
Always wanted a wet race this season, and it's going to be absolutely blue, I think. Wet races always do pop up as a bit of a weird one. I mean, look at Hockenheim. Hockenheim this year in Formula 1 was an interesting race, and this one should be, you know, a whole different scenario. I mean, you can just see the water droplets. You can see the track is absolutely soaking wet. And I don't know if these cars have wet tyres or they have some sort of road tyre. I believe they do, as I can see through the arches on the left hand side. They do have grooves in the tyres, much more like the 2006 Michelin tyres from Formula 1. They're very much like that. So they've got a little bit of grooves, they've got a bit of grip, and they're able to move standing water away, which is brilliant. So hopefully we'll be able to be a dry line popping up very, very shortly. No, I'm need to split. There you go. So yeah, hopefully it should be a good race, as we see Duke Martin just going on the grab a little bit, struggling out for a little bit of grip.
Yeah, I love this circuit. I always have loved this circuit, and it's, I think, is it this game, iRacing and Assetto Corsa have done it quite well, where they've actually looked pretty realistic.
They do it very, very well.
Yeah.
And they always do with these great tracks. Very much the most famous ones. They do very well with trying to put in, the best track possible with this. And I think they did very, very well. I mean, Nurburgring's quite a common track with games right now. You've got Gran Turismo and you've got Project Cars. Them two very high games, and them two have very, very good versions of this, including such as R Factor 2. I believe they laser scanned this into the actual game, so I think that's the best version of this track. But we still got a fantastic version of Project Cars 2.
We do as well, as there's a car stopped on the start line. I don't know if that's glitched or... I know it's got back going.
I think he's just struggling for grip there. That looks like he's just having a little bit of a moment. Just running on board with Beza, going fastest currently in the wet conditions of a 2-minute 2. 2.6 seconds in front, so maybe he might be one to look out for when we go through into the race of going from light rain all the way to a nice overcast conditions. So he'll be the one to look out for. I'm just wondering, because halfway through the race is projected that there will be a change in weather from the wet conditions to the overcast. So I'm just wondering, is the track going to dry up enough to go onto slick tyres? That's what I'm wondering.
From what I've seen with wet races on this game, as he slides over the curb there, I think it will. I think you'll be looking about the last 15 minutes maybe as dry. Yeah, it's a hard one to call, I would say.
It's a hard one to call, and these cars aren't really... I mean, yes, I'm comparing a lot to Formula 1, but they're not really moving as much water as Formula 1 cars do. They move like 140 litres of water every single lap. These cars, because they haven't got, they're not moving as much water because the tyres, they're a little bit, the width is not as much, the power is not as much. so these tyres aren't really moving too much water. I'm just wondering, will there be a dry line so that the slicks can get on? But we're just going to have to wait until you go into the race. And as you say, James, there might be one heading more towards the end of the 15 minutes, because this will be an hour race, so maybe 15 minutes left. People, drivers may start just thinking about, oh yeah, is it going to be time to start going over to slick tyres? Maybe go a little bit more faster, just gaining that extra few seconds. But I mean, it's a risk of that you have to go in the pit lane, change your tyres, which is going to take a pretty long time, especially with these cars. They're not going to be like a Formula 1 car where it changes about 2 seconds. It's going to be more of towards 8 to 10 seconds to change tyres, and you just never know. And the thing is, they might want to consider fuel strategies as well, because if they're thinking about pitting with 15 minutes left, do they want to have enough fuel to last 45 minutes and then have a bit more fuel in the car but a lot lighter? But then again, you're probably going to be in the same scenario if you started off with heavier fuel, but once you get to that point, you're probably going to have about the same amount of fuel. So it's all mind games in the head, but it should be a good race.
And a question to ask: do you think do you think it's easier to start like at the front of the grid or near the back?
It'll be a lot easier to start at the front, because you haven't got that spray going up in your face. As better, there's a little bit of a moment there, just losing a bit of rear grip. But it is a lot better to start from the front. I mean, you've got no one really
off again.
bothering you. No really bothering you with because they're chucking up water right in the front of your windscreen, and you can't really see after that. But yeah, I mean, just being in front gives you a bit of advantage with visibility, but we always see great drivers, such as Ayrton Senna's first opening lap at Donington. There's some great drivers that will just go through, depending on, no matter what the conditions are.
Yeah, he's going to be really good as he comes in the pits. But yeah, as you were saying, it is tricky to see it and how good it actually is, because I always hate the rain, I tell you that. I'm always awful in the rain.
It is quite tricky, because
it is.
I mean, downforce doesn't really matter too much, because really you're focusing on trying to keep those tyres heated up and trying to keep them being able to grip to the ground. So, and then these curbs are quite difficult as well, because these curbs just build up with a load of water that you can't really stop that. If you need to go into a curb to move around a corner to go faster, you need to, but then you run the risk of getting a load of water and just not being able to grip into the apex, which is what most drivers use. They try to go to the apex to try and grip the car, and if they can't, then they're just going to lose so much time. They're most likely going to spin, depending on how high the curb is and how much standing water's there.
Yeah, so practice is now over, and we now are waiting for the practice to be finished, as there we go, it's now finished, as Lonnie was last on circuit. So if it's anything like practice, it will be Beza. If this was qualifying, it's Beza pole, Lonnie second, and Aquagram in third. So and it's a 2:02 to beat now.
It is 2 minutes 2 to beat from Beza. What a great lap! 2 minutes 2.5, which would be a great lap in this qualifying session. So the weather continues from the practice session here into qualifying. We've got a 10-minute qualifying session as well as before a 10-minute practice session, and then we head into an hour race where we're going from light rain into overcast conditions. You can just see on your screen just chucking it down, and it's not going to let up any time soon. It's going to ride on board with Pep at the moment, and just have a look at how wet that track is. You can see, I mean, it's just soaking. I mean, you can even see the sky with it. So, not going to be great for the drivers. Visibility, they don't want to be behind anyone at this moment in time. I mean, Pepin might slow down a little bit more as the driver in front, because he doesn't want anything impairing his visibility. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what these drivers can do. I mean, Beza, 1.7 seconds in practice faster, but then we saw not many drivers heading out the pits. I mean, we saw at one point only 6 drivers in the pits, and that's still quite a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you only got 8 more drivers on the track, so the maximum at the moment, we've only had 8 drivers on the track at one point.
Right now we've got 13 on track, so...
Well, luckily, and then hopefully there'll be a little bit of a dry line. There won't be too much of a dry line at the moment because the rain is still coming down. To get a dry line, great dry line, you really need the rain to stop, and then the drivers to go round and round the track, building up the heat in the track, in the tyres, and yeah. But most definitely, lap 1 here is going to be fantastic. Really is.
You want that line, wasn't it? Silverstone, wasn't it? Ages ago, was it? It wasn't Dame. It was Damon Hill and and Johnny Herbert. I think that race where they had that like dry line, but then they still had the wet line as well.
That was 1995.
I think so, but it was like you just see that wet line there, and that is very important, as you say, because if you go on the wet with the dry tyres on, you can slide and crash out. So it's going to be very important.
Easily just aquaplane all the way, and this corner is going to be very difficult with drivers. You're going downhill while you're braking, which means you haven't really got as much. If it was just flat, then you have a lot more better braking forward, and they'll be able to brake a lot later. And I think one thing that we've got to look out for as well is people locking up going into that turn 1, because if drivers lock up, they're just going to be aquaplaning across that, across all the way to turn 1, and maybe going to gravel trap and then going into the barrier. These cars are able to get out of the gravel, but the thing is, are they going to smash into the barricade and maybe get some suspension damage or aero damage? That's really the thing to look out for at the moment. We're going to have to wait and see how all lap 1 goes, because lap 1 will be very interesting as the drivers are all very close together. There's a huge jet wash of just water going on your windscreen. Nobody's going to be able to see into turn 1. So I think that'll be quite fun to watch on the stream, but not fun for the drivers. Maybe further back than 3rd place. That'll be awful for them. Absolutely awful, and they won't be able to see. And then we've got people who just can't really see the braking point, and then just as you just lock up, and you just go straight into the front driver, and then we'll probably see quite a lot of crashes.
Yeah, and if you talk about F1 races around here, wasn't it the 1999? Because that's basically, if you don't know, F1 do like loads of these reruns of races, and they think they did the 99 race on here where it was dry, wet, and dry. Wasn't it that one?
I think it was.
Yeah, and they had it like really wet. As Pep Biff about to complete his lap here, we'll just give you this quick. He crosses and sets. As he set the time, he has a 2 minutes 5.396.
Lonnie goes fastest with a 2 minute 2.0. Quite a good lap there. 5 tenths faster than Beza in his practice lap. Beza about 4 tenths back from his practice lap, so it looks like he's got a bit more time to find in this session as he's just now heading up the pits. He's probably only going to get 1 lap, maybe 2 laps worth of hot lap. We've got about 3 laps, including the out lap, so quite a lot of laps. Yeah. David puts in a new lap time. It's 2 minutes 2.5 tenths behind now, so looking like they've all been able to get into 2 minute 2. So they're all going to be able to get. Is Lonnie being able to get to the 2 minute 1? So we have to wait and see. The track will be drying a little bit. You will start to see a little bit of a dry line, but it won't be too catastrophic at the moment. We just have to wait and see. But also, what was it? 2007. The first corner, everyone was aquaplaning into the first corner, weren't they, in Formula 1? That was quite a dramatic race. I think like 7 cars went off, and one of them was Lewis Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was quite a fun race, quite a fun turn one. But evening all, Lucas Jones, hello, and hi Buddha, good evening. I hope you have a good race. We've got about 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in the qualifying session here today at the Nurburgring. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what David can do. We'll see what his sector split is in a few. Hopefully, I think the sector split is coming up very shortly.
If we'll see it. There we go. Oh, is it a whole second down?
Yeah, it's a whole second down on his best lap time at the moment, so not doing too well in this next lap. Let's have a look at Lonnie real quickly, see where he is on the track. He's just going out of sector 1 and he's now heading into sector 2, going downhill into this corner's quite difficult, especially in the rain, because you want to try and get on that curve as much as possible and try and get a better line through here, but it's obviously quite difficult with these cars, especially in the rain. But hopefully the drivers will be able to cope with it during the race, and I reckon we'll see a lot of mistakes today.
It doesn't look. I know you're saying it's a lot of spray, but it doesn't to me look like there's a lot of spray coming off the cars.
I think it'll look better from the driver's perspective, if you get what I mean.
Okay.
So I think it's just because we've got a limit. We've got a limit on how much graphics we can have in our project cars, spectative view. But yeah, I see what you mean. There's not too much from where you can actually. I mean, here there's nothing, but then when it comes down here.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I think what Project Cars should do, and I think if we get the Codemasters new game, we should definitely have it in the game, is replays on when say a crash happens, you have a replay of the crash.
Yeah.
Like iRacing sometimes do on their iRacing broadcasts and that.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good addition. I mean, they just added it this year as the highlights, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that'll be a great feature. But it does take a lot of performance away. That's the only problem with I think the capabilities of such as the PS4, can't handle that. But once we get to the next gen, I think a lot more of that stuff will be available. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We've got about 1 minute and 14 seconds remaining in the qualifying session, with Lonnie in the lead at the moment. It's about 4/10. David looks like he's not going to be making another lap. He's still in the pits, so it looks like he might be staying in second place at the moment. Bez's out on a lap, and he's just going to come up and finish his lap. He's about to the final bend. Quite difficult corners. Well, I mean, you're under braking, you're turning, so a lot of these corners are quite tricky on the track, especially in the rain. Easy to lock up. But no, he's about 1.6 seconds down, so it looks like none of the drivers can improve their times. I mean, would have thought, the track would have improved over time, but it doesn't look too good.
Harry Buddha says track's gone, no one will go quicker now. And Lucas says let's go Boston, so we've got a Boston fan tonight.
Regulator and Boston Road just finishing off their last. Boston Road just coming through to the last chicane, and we got one more corner. It's about 6/10 of Tamlin's best lap delta, so it looks like he can move up the pegs here. 11th place at the moment. Let's see where he can finish. His qualifying is now complete. Boston Road can finish off his lap, including Aguilera, so they can both finish their lap. Boston Road coming around the final corner. Let's see where he's going to be. Where does he move up to? He comes across the line. Stays in 11th place. I thought he would have gone faster. That might have just been the 6th time. But just watching Aguilera going through the final chicane. A little bit tentative going through there. Looks like he just outbraked himself there. So we're going to heads into the pit lane. So that is qualifying complete. And Lonnie will be your pole sitter for the Nurburgring GP here in the Gavra Racing in the Ginetta Evolution Series for the GT3s. With David right behind him, about 4/10 away. Beza with about 9/10. Donovan 1.7, MacBib 1.7 as well. Akrigim 2.6, about a second behind MacBib. So there's a second difference between 5th and 6th. Duke Martin, 2.8. Petbib, 3.3 seconds behind. Saventa in 9th, 3.4 seconds behind. And in 10th place, Aguilera, 3.5 seconds behind the leader there of Lonnie. As you can see, Lonnie just getting ready for this race. So we've got about a 2-minute wait.
And you can see the rain is lighter, as you can tell.
It was a lot heavier in qualifying, but you can see. I mean, I even go to the bonnet and you can actually see it's a lot lighter, but I can still see that they're running with the wet compound tyres. So, while we're waiting for the drivers to get ready and finalise their fuel setups and their race setups, James, we'd like to do a nice driveroftheday.org.
Yeah, well, yeah, my predictions for this race will be... I think we're going to get David, Dalavan and Lonnie as your podium.
Okay, so quite bold there. We'll have to wait and see what happened during the race.
Hello everyone who's here. Yes, the race is about to start. It normally, if you don't normally watch the starts, you have about a 1 minute 30-second gap before we actually go. So, and if the race as well, by the way, if you haven't watched any of mine and Ethan's commentaries before, whenever the race gets boring, we sometimes talk about other things. So we might sidetrack if we have anything. We might sidetrack and tangent, but yeah.
May just have a little bit of an off-topic conversation. We're just going to wait probably about another 15 seconds until we start syncing and we start going for Nurburgring GP.
Thanks to all 10 of you who are watching. Do like, and if you haven't already, do subscribe. We have gained quite a few subscribers recently. It's here in a minute. I'm about to sync it. Here we go. And Ethan, we're going.
It's lights down, away we go. Lonnie gets off to a great start, but Dalavan gets even a better start. Let's have a look. Dalavan in 3rd place, trying to have a look down the inside of Lonnie. Lonnie looks like he's moving down a little bit. Dalavan staying in 3rd place at the moment. Lonnie's managed to stay in 2nd. Some people have gone off just a little bit in the background, but not too many. A little bit of barging going down. Dalavan trying to make a move around the outside of Lonnie. But nothing working for him just there. And now it looks like he's going to try and get overtaken by Beza. Beza quickest in practice. So wait for him. Beza looking like a little bit out of shape there going through turn 3 there. So not too great for him as Duke Martin, Maya and Saventa get past him. So great start there from David. I mean, he did a great race back in Algrave. So hopefully he can do an even greater race here today at Nurburgring GP. But Lonnie bogged down a little bit, didn't he? He gets off to a decent start, but just bogged down. I don't know if that was a problem with the clutch. I don't know if he's got the automatic clutch on. But a little bit bogged down there, don't you think?
Yeah, he did. I really don't know what happened there with Lonnie. He went and then kind of... he went and then slowed and then went again. So it was kind of like he was in like the wrong gear, and then the guy had to go down the gear to get back up to that gear. So
I just don't know if he was. I don't know if it was just the rear tyres trying to grip, or did he think he was not that confident? And I just don't know. I have to ask him what happens. Oh, in the background, Dalavan have a little moment going onto the gravel, and that just invites Duke Martin to get past quite easily and moves into the podium places of 3rd place. Let's have a look at the back a little bit. We see Matbid 29 in 6th place at the moment, just trying to catch up to Saventa, and then all the way up to Dalavan. So Cone just goes a little bit past our screens. So nothing really happening too much at the moment. I don't know if any drivers had a few problems during the start. Boston Road looks all okay, so it looks like no crashes or involvements with each other, so it's actually quite good. David has pulled out a great lead. Lonnie looks like he's had a problem. And he's... oh, where is he? He's down to 11th place, so unfortunately missed that. So Lonnie, from pole position, has gone down to 11th place on the opening lap, which is not great stuff for him, but I reckon he can bring it back during the race. So, do you know what happened there, James? Oh, I'm just clueless.
No, I didn't see that either. But so just to say to everyone, we have 57 minutes to go. Yeah, I have no idea. No idea what happened there. Maybe it could have been. I'm going to give you a theory. It could have been spin at the chicane. Anything spins really. But as you look on board, he goes down the inside now, and I think he's got the move done on Pet Bib. Yes, he has. Or has he though?
No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
Pet Bib came right round the outside, just going right aggressive at Lonnie. And you can just see the spray a little bit there. Not as bad as the practice and the not as bad as the practice and qualifying session here. It's a little bit lighter rain, as it will go to overcast weather, maybe halfway through the race. But yeah, Lonnie trying to go for a move on Pep Bib will have none of it. So great fight here for 8th place at the moment between Lonnie, Pep Bib, Dunlop and Agulator. So great little bit of fighting between them.
It is, as Marquis goes off. Back on he comes now, so sorry.
Marco comes back on the track as well, and
Marco's,
so Lonnie's teammate Marco, so them two have had a bad start to this race. Lonnie has gone past, what is that, Dunlop, so he's made up 2 positions there. Who was in front of him? Can't remember now, but Lonnie trying to make a move
On Pet Bib.
Pet Bib. We're not able to make it. Went on the curb there, didn't he? It looks like a little bit out of shape. I think he just let off the accelerator there.
You can
maybe he's had a little bit of a moment.
You can definitely see now from looking on here as into the pits comes on the cars, the spray coming up now on the cars. It does affect you as Lonnie as Mate or Mac comes into the pits. Now, but just to say to everybody, just to look out for Lonnie and David are battling for the championship lead. They are 4 points behind each other, and then Marquis and Zalaban are battling for second.
Akagaram's going to go down the inside. Oh, there's a little bit of argy-bargy. Let's continue, James, sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine. I'm just all I was saying was that it's Lonnie and David battling for the championship lead, and Dalavan and Marquis for third in the championship. There, they are. But yeah, it's all quieting down really at the front. The front's quiet down. It's like the gaps have come up at the front, but then at the mid pack, it's still all tightly bunched.
It's all tightly bunched. I mean, you have a 12th place up to what is it, 6th place? The 6 cars separated by about 5 seconds, so it's absolutely brilliant racing going on. In the front, it's all just spread out a little bit. And who's that? Just gone off there. I don't know who that is. I think it was Marco again, was it?
No, it's the person who's
it was Lonnie. Lonnie went off again.
It's the wet. He doesn't like the wet weather.
He does not like the wet weather at all. But he can do a lap in it, but he can't do 3 laps in it. But now both the teammates are fighting for 12th place, so not a great start from pole position. Now down to 13th place, and it hasn't been going well for him, so that's really unfortunate. What looked like to be a good race and a good day today, but not able to make a move. It's JGM almost getting overtaken by Boston Road. Boston Road look a bit pokey. Agarim, he's got a little bit of a gap now to Pet Bib. Pet Bib's a bit pulling away, but Agarim's got a bit of front nose damage, which I'd love to know if that's causing any insignificance with downforce or anything, as he goes and set his best lap time of the race at the moment.
I still can't believe that from the leader to 6th is 20 seconds as Akagram spins.
Agarim spins and he spins again. He's just all over the place. He went to the corner. He went in too deep. You can see the undulation he took going through the corner. Yeah, really weird that one was. He just spun. But as you said, James, yeah, there's a huge gap between, you
Oh,
know.
somebody else has spun. Oh, two
Oh,
cars.
two drivers. That was JDM and Boston Road, both having a little bit of an incident there. So them two having a little bit of argument there, but JDM lets him straight through. I don't know if that was his fault or Boston Road's fault. I will have to wait and see. Might have to look back at the replay, but I don't think we got any footage of them two having a little bit of a jostle. Lonnie is able to keep in front of Gavin at the moment. Gavin just lost about 3 places just a few moments ago in the first corner, so I think he wanted me making those positions up. So already having some great battles on the tracks here today. It's Dunlop Sweet is part of the battle for 8th. He's currently leading it and wants to try and pull away as fast as possible. You can see the spray just going up in the air now. That's really bad. I don't know if the rain is intensifying or anything, but you can just see. It's getting a little bit badder. At the moment, we'll just have a look at our race leader as he comes to make lap 5 here. David Curran in first place at the moment. Dalavan in second, about 4 seconds behind. Duke Martin about 6.4 seconds behind there, about 2 seconds behind Dalavan. Beza is nowhere near, and he's in 4th place, about 12.6 seconds behind the leader. Saventa is gonna try and probably wants to make a move on Beza very, very shortly. I mean, he's only 8 tenths behind Beza for 4th place at the moment, and about 14 seconds behind the leader. Dalavan really pulling away with this. I mean, I think, these were the last laps. I mean, compared to 5th to 1st, Saventa's last lap was a 2 minute 13.7, and Dalavan's last lap was a 2 minute 8.4. That's about 5 seconds difference. It's obviously quite a bit there. Let's have a look further down the field at Garam, right on the back. Boston Road right on the back of his gearbox, about 8 tenths away between each other. But nothing really happening at the moment. The closest is between Dunlop and Marco. So to try and fight it out for 9th place. Marco had a little bit of a spin early on today. Lonnie's making his way through. So, I mean, Lonnie and Marco, they were both 12th and 13th, and they're already back up to 9th and 10th. So they're already making themselves back up to the higher positions and higher points as they want to try and challenge for the title. But I don't think it'll be great for them this weekend, but they do need to get off the field quite quickly. We're in about 11 minutes into this race now. We've already had some great action. What are your thoughts at the moment, James, of this race so far?
It's wow, it's very good. Like, great racing at the moment we've seen. I'm just very surprised that gap already is opened. It's from 5th to 6th is just a massive gap at the moment. Which is 8 seconds. Nearly, just over 8 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that is incredible.
To see that at the moment.
Top 5 just pulling away easily, and they're going to go lap by lap by lap by lap. I mean, they are actually setting quite decent lap pace. Juventus and Aguilera only separated by about 4 tenths with Aguilera in favour, but they're still 8 plus seconds behind.
As Boston has come into the pits, and another car's now heading in as well. Oh no, just Boston, sorry. Boston's now in, so he's just come in for some reason.
It got a little bit of damage on the front right, but I just wanted to see. I mean, there is tyres out, but not changing the tyres.
It's the damage.
Yeah, it's the damage. I just want to fix that up a little bit as he's now heading out. In 14th place, Stone dead last, which is upgrade from his point of view, but he will be Stone dead last, unfortunately. Let's have a look at a few battles going on between the midfield. Dunlop able to stay in front of Marco for the moment. Pepe about 2.2 seconds in front. So it looks like you want to try and get towards better points, up to 7th. So wait and see what happens between this battle, Dunlop and Marco. Marco now just getting it down to 4/10. Lonnie just not being able to keep up with the pace at the moment. But you can just see the spray. I mean, that's just right on board with Marco's POV, and he gets overtaken. Dunlop gets overtaken by Marco. As I was just changing cameras there, he gets overtaken, and you can already just see the spray there.
Oh, you definitely can now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting a little bit worse now over this course of race, which I thought would have been a lot less. As there starts to be a drier line, and who's that? Pet Bib. Looks like he took it maybe a little bit too fast, and maybe just went on the curb a little bit too much, going into the chicane there, which is great. And he's now fallen down to 11th place. A lot of drivers making a few mistakes. Lonnie and Marco making mistakes. Pet Bib now making mistakes. Boston Row having a few mistakes. So this is quite an easy track to make a mistake.
It is very easy to make a mistake on here. It always has been and it always will be. But as you can see, no, not really many battles at the moment. There are a few, maybe just a few seconds away from each other, like this one. But Lucas Jones thinks says that it's a great race. He thinks it'll be 20 minutes to go when the rain stops. So he thinks we'll only have another, right now, 15 minutes of rain.
Okay. So not to wait and see, because the rain is projected to stop at
25 minutes. Sorry.
With about 30 minutes to go, but then will there be a dry line?
I don't think so.
Yep. So I don't think so, but we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean, all we can do is wait for the drivers, see what the drivers can do to try and maybe drive up the line, because all it is right now is a guessing game for the drivers and the strategists, trying to figure out if they should go on to 6, maybe 15 minutes left in the race. But then again, it does take a bit of time to change tyres over from wets to slick, so it's just that bold decision. That, I mean, the track will stay cold because it will be overcast, so the track will be cold and it'll be quite difficult to heat up the slick tyres. But we just have to wait and see. No battles going on at the moment, so we'd like to have a off-topic conversation
if you want,
until we wait for a battle to occur. What could we talk about? We could talk about Formula 1 restarting on the 5th of July as the Austrian Grand Prix. We didn't talk about that last week.
News. I have some news for you. Ross Brawn, you know, the guy who now is like an F1 person, not a team owner. Yeah, he announced that there's like 2 or 3 teams who want the regular rules, so the big new rules to be changed, that are going to be changed 2022 now, to be extended and put into place 2023.
Ooh.
So there's an argument there, because basically there's 10 teams and like 4 of the 10 teams want it to be changed to 2023 now. So do they do that, or do they just go no? The majority have said 2022 is fine. Do that.
I think the only thing that Ross Brawn really is looking at for those kind of rules is the amount of money that is used from teams, really, because I mean, so everyone's Aaron Ramsey. Rain should ease and stop about 30 minutes. Overcast may seem dry very slowly. There's a probability of maybe 2 or 3 laps with rain at the end as the weather transforms again. Okay, so you may get a little bit more rain at the end of the race, just just for a little bit of fun. But really, I mean, Aston Martin are predicted to be joining with Racing Point because Lawrence Stroll has investments in Aston Martin. The only thing is with that is Aston Martin are struggling financially wise. That's the only reason that Lawrence Stroll and Toto Wolff put in money with it. It's because Aston Martin really are struggling. Same with McLaren, they are struggling quite a bit with the money. I mean, just for their road cars, their racing team is part of their road car range because it is all one financial big puddle. But I think if with Formula One, I mean, I think Red Bull lost millions because they didn't do the Australian Grand Prix. They did a lot of advertisement. They transported everything. The car cost so much to build, and they lost so much money. And because they want to try and get the rules. Because I mean, you're going from a car to a completely new car, a new transform. You know, a brand new front wing, brand new rear wing, brand new side pod, a whole brand new profile, really. And for teams to go from this generation to the next generation is going to cost a lot of money. And with Aston Martin getting into sport next season, it's going to be difficult for them. Because yes, they've got Lawrence Stroll and they've got Toto Wolff backing them. But then it's still going to take a lot of money to build the car. I mean, I kind of like the idea of that they took the rules and regulations and turned it to 2022. Because everyone made a car for this year and they can't use it, so they want to use it next season.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Because they spent millions just designing the car and making the car, and they can't even use it.
Yeah,
so
they can't. I'm just looking on circuit, and the closest battle we have is between DJD and Pet Biv. They've just overtaken each other. DJG has overtaken Pet Biv. There we go. So Pet Biv must have made a mistake somewhere.
Must have done. Because he's fallen back quite a lot, hasn't he? Are there any more battles going on at the moment?
But yeah, like that's interesting to say. And then you look at F1, you look at other league like things, for example, not F1, and like I think it's next week. Wait, when was it? Let me just look this up. I'm going to make this so I sound professional and it will sound different, sound like him knowing.
Marco hasn't got a rear wing.
Oh, so it could be something in contact with him.
Yeah, probably, but because Pet Bib had a bit of, I mean, we go right on board with him. He's got a little bit of a problem with his front bumper on the right hand side, so it looks like them two had a collision, and he's gone off a little bit.
He has indeed.
So I think financially wise, I mean, that's why they're trying to do like the money bubble of like spending that amount of money annually on a car and the team. So I think it's a bit of a financial situation between Formula One and teams, because McLaren makes great cars, but they're unreliable. Aston Martin last month, and actually for the past 2 months, they haven't sold one car, so they're struggling trying to sell the cars, let alone become a Formula One team. Renault say that their €1 billion team is falling, and is falling quite quickly, as Daniel Ricciardo's getting a bit annoyed because he wasn't promised what was supposed to be there. You know, a team that would always be above the midfield and maybe possibly a podium in that season. But that was more McLaren's season, very much above the midfield and you know, that one podium that really got him a load of points. So at the point, the teams are struggling money-wise. So I think Osborne is trying to save the teams a lot of money, then going to the new regulations.
Here we go. Then does no. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that's what's going to happen. And if you didn't know, as Pet Biv goes wide, and does that make go through down the outside? Now cuts back to the inside line. Very good cutback this will be here if you can get this done. No, he's too far back and does not let go through. But just on racing quickly. I've got some news about NASCAR for you.
Oh yeah.
And I know this doesn't sound brilliant. I think it's with no fans at the stadiums, right? But they're going to race at, I think it's Charlotte. And yeah, they're going to do Charlotte, and they're going to do the 24th Sunday. They're going to be doing Charlotte, the Coca-Cola 600, and then the next day, in the week, Wednesday the 27th, they're going to have the NASCAR Cup Series go there and do Charlotte, race around Charlotte. And that's going to be real life for you. So, yeah, that might not be on UK TV, but that is the first race series I've seen that are actually going to come back and properly race. So
it's a bit like WWE at the moment. I mean, they're still going, but they just haven't got any fans in the grandstands. Oh, Matt Bibb makes a bit of a mistake on the curb and has to go and just loses the rear ends. But I think with no fans, I think it can work if they test every single person when going to the track. Yeah. So every single race engineer, strategist, driver, they all test them and see if they've got coronavirus. If they got it, they can go.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. As sorry, just to say, I think we have a battle for fourth now because it's 13.4 seconds is Duke Martin, and Beza is 13.4. So it's pretty similar now, pretty close this one.
It's getting a lot closer. Beza only about 4/10 behind Duke Martin, a place for the podium positions. I think Beza want to get past. Beza was in the podium positions on lap 1, but just lost it to Duke Martin.
We have 4 minutes, by the way, until the rain should stop. As Duke Martin goes wide, and through he goes.
Duke Martin goes a little bit wide, and that's cost him a third place podium at the moment. Hopefully he can make himself back up and fight Beza for that third place. And I think what it looks on my screen, I don't know if it's showing on your screen, but the rain has stopped. I don't know if that's just my screen.
No, there you go, I can still see it raining.
Still, yeah, little droplets, little droplets, so it looks like it's going to the transformation period. So
it's a dry line though.
This is now stopping. Yeah.
You can see kind of a lighter colour on the circuit where the cars are going for the line. It's not really light, but it's lighter than some parts of the circuit, and it should be interesting. But then as you look at that in the same respects with F1, right? Back to F1 quickly because we're talking about that. And you were saying this about the testing for kits and that. What F1 are planning to do is, the week of the race, they're going to be testing them once every 2 days. Each person who's going to be at the circuit, and then, basically they said they're going to be doing it once every 2 days, around the F1 calendar, and then when they get to the circuit, they're going to test the whole team and everything when they get to the circuit as well.
So, I mean, I get it without fans. I mean, it
won't
be too much of a loss. But, obviously, still. But just doing with the test people and being able to say, okay, we can actually get the race going. But, of course, we're going to have to just allow the countries to say, oh, we can have a race, because I don't think the UK at the moment would, the government wouldn't allow a race at the moment. What's going on?
Well, funny you should say that, because Silverstone have announced that they can race at Silverstone without fans. I think they announced that 2 days ago. But that'd be a very big stretch. It would, and I don't think they could do it. But I don't think they would do it. But if you look at this just quickly, back to this race we're watching? As look at that, the spray is slow on circuit, so it's drying up. But do you think you'll see cars pit now, as you can see the 2 cars in the pit lane who are about to be lapped?
I believe that's Lonnie.
It is. Do you think cars will be coming, because it's half race distance now, do you think cars will be coming in, or do you think they'll be waiting and then coming in like with 10-20 minutes to go just to put a bit of fuel in and go, or
won't be heading in now.
Make disconnects.
They're coming in now. You can see there's quite a lot of standing water, and you can see a little bit of droplets, so it's kind of dry and wet in some places of the track. I mean, the final part of the circuit, that's quite dry compared to the other parts of the circuit, so I think it's still raining at the bottom of the track on the map on the right hand side, but it's drying up more towards the northern side of it. But I mean, we have to wait and see what the drivers want to do, because you can still see the spray on the tyres. To wait and see. That's all we can do.
There's no spray here on this bit of circuit. Well, there is, but a tiny bit.
Just a little bit. You can see there's none right there, but you can just see that the track is quite wet still, and the drivers will be able to feel it. Yeah, this part you can see is still quite a lot of standing water still. So some parts there is, and some parts will be a drier line because drivers mostly go on them. You can see there's a lot right there. I mean,
who was that?
Lonnie. I don't know who that was.
It's one of the leaders.
Was it Jude? No. Was that?
It was Beza.
Was it Beza?
Yeah. No, it was Duke.
Oh, gee.
It was Duke. No, it was Siventa. Sorry, Siventa. Oh no, it was Duke.
No.
It was Duke there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Duke. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. But Dalavan's come in.
Dalavan's in for a pit stop. I have to wait and see what he's going to try and do.
I love watching just this circuit here that we're seeing right now, but I also love the full circuit with the Nordschleife.
The Nordschleife are attached to it, so the GT version of it. Let's see if he's going to change tyres. Nope, he's not going to go for a change of tyres, so looks to be it's just damage. I don't know what he's in for.
I don't, but he's not going to. If he comes out, if he leaves now, he'll be out in 5th. But no, he won't. Siventa's just come in, so Siventa's team are just running out the pit lane to come and find him. So interesting to see what's going to happen.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Both of them, both teammates coming in, and doesn't look like they're going to make a tyre change, unless it is. Let's just ride on board on the roof. No, they're still on wet, so I can still see the wet end tyres and the arches, so...
What about Siventa? Let's just...
See, Siventa's still in 6th place.
Oh no, he's not coming in. I mean, he's not getting any tyre change.
No, so I don't know why them two are in the pit lane, unless they ran with lower fuel. Maybe they thought that the track would dry up quite quickly with halfway through. It looks like they've only had fuel for halfway through the race. Both teammates, so they both communicate with each other. And as the eventer from 6th place is now down to 11th place, so not really gone too well for him. Let's just see if we've got any little battles. 6th, 7th and 8th all separated by about 2 seconds. As Gavra goes past Dunlop. Looks like he just wants to get past it. I mean, you can see here, this is dry. These will just be, this part will just be burning the tyres, really. David's
in, so David has decided he's doing the same. Same with Beza, they're both in the pits, so... I don't know, would you... I'm going to ask you the question, because you're more of a racer than I am. Would you go on to wet weather, would you go on to dry tyres, or would you stick on the wet tyres?
I think at this moment in time, I think I would go for the wet tyres for the moment, but I mean, it's really, I mean, the people who are driving is really best to answer that question, because when a track's drying, you really need to fill the car. Duke Martin gets out in front of Beza, and Beza just followed behind, so them two are really close together, as David hasn't even moved at all. David's lost the lead of this race, and he's gone out to 4th place at the moment. And Dalavan goes into 1st place.
Wow,
so
David must have a lot of damage there.
David is now coming out. Dalavan is now in 1st place. So Dalavan, I mean, leading for most of this race, has now just lost the lead, really. So I don't know what was going on, unless they're going for fuel. Did they only put enough fuel in for half the distance? So that means they can come in and change the tyres and put more fuel in. They'll be a little bit lighter.
I don't know, but Boston Row and Aguilator's come in, so it could just be everyone's coming in at halfway point just to get fuel and tyres or stuff. Let us know what you think they're doing, because it'll be interesting. It's interesting to find out. I
believe this is Lonnie as a blue car.
I think it is. Or it could be his teammate. Is it Lonnie? I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it's Lonnie.
As he tries to unlap himself here.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to unlap himself. Let's see if we can get a better perspective.
No, it's not Lonnie.
No, it's Marco. You're right.
He's trying to unlap himself.
I mean, the team's had a really bad day today. Kind of feel sorry for them. I mean, Lonnie was in pole position. Marco was in a decent position.
I think he started. Yeah.
Nothing's really happened to him today, and he's now. I think he's trying to unlap himself in Boston. Nope. Oh wait, no. There we go. Sorry. Lonnie is trying to overtake Boston, and Marco is trying to overtake Bezard at the moment. Lonnie right on the back of Boston Road. Let's see if you can make him go down to the tight right hairpin. Not going to be able to make it. A little bit of damage to the front of Boston Road's car on the right hand side. So I don't know if he's going to have a little bit of an aero impact. I mean, these cars do have a lot of aero comparing to the GT4s and the GT5s.
Aaron says they should have started with enough fuel to finish the race. Because of today's weather, they need the option of going the distance without a stop.
I was just wondering why they've gone into the pits, because they haven't changed tyres, they've just sat there. Unless they're doing a mandatory stop today, I don't know. As Gav's in the pitch now, let's see if he's going to go over to the dry tyres. Pet Bib also going into the pit lane, he's getting a little bit slower. Agaro's going to leave. Let's have a look if we can. Oh no. Let's see if we can have a look.
There's a little bit of water there.
There's quite a lot of water going turn one, isn't there? But you can see the dry lines forming. But Agaro's he's gone for the wet tyres still, so he's not been able to make the decision to go over to the tyres. Lonnie is looking to make a position on Junior and Boston Row, so it looks like a nice three-way battle for ninth place at the moment. Gets a nice little switch back again, able to get the traction down. Lonnie's going to go down the inside. JDM's going to break out and just let them fight, so he's not going to fight that with Lonnie. It looks like he just wants to be able to keep it. He's losing a little bit of time going on the exit of that corner. I don't know if he's having a few problems with the rear at the moment. Dunlop he's doing fine at the moment. Lonnie's going to try and make a move on Boston Row. This is exactly as it happened last, like about 22 minutes remaining in this session in the race here today. He's not going to make a move. Gray with braking then too. Lonnie just a little bit tighter with that, but Boston Row able to keep with him with the same traction. Quite difficult this corner in the wet as well. I mean, there's going to be. I mean, you can see a little bit of standing water still on there, so people thinking not just yet. When do you think, James, it will? Do you think it will start to dry up and people start to pit for the dry tyres?
In about 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes time, so about 18 minutes to go. Not 18, yeah, about 18, 17 minutes to go.
Okay, so we have to wait and see.
But it's anyone's guess at the moment, really, because you've got to realise that it's anyone's guess. You don't know. It's generally could be. Let's see what Dunn. Can you just quickly go on Dunlop if he's in the pit lane? Lonnie actually could be on dry tyre. Well,
Dunlop's on dries.
He was. Dunlop was up on the jacks. I just saw Dunlop up on the jacks. So Dunlop must have changed his tyres.
Dunlop's on dries.
There you go then.
Yep, so Dunlop is making the decision to go on those dry tyres first.
Oh, but it started raining.
Just a little bit.
Oh god.
Oh no. So is that the wrong call or is it the right call there?
I don't know, it's 50-50 really.
50-50 at the moment. We have to wait and see what. I just have to do that. It's about 20 minutes remaining in this race, and it's already started raining again. So Dunlop, the first of the people to try and make a pit stop for the dry tyres. Again, I'm going to try and make a move on Boston Row, and Lonnie wants to try and make a move for the 7. Again, lets up and lets Lonnie pass, so it looks like, I don't know if them doing a collision there, going through the second sector. Twenty minutes remaining in the race here today at the Nurburgring GP. Duke Martin and Civentage separated by about 7/10 at the moment. The only real battle going between these two is Civentage goes right down the inside of Duke Martin. So that's great stuff from him. Someone's in the pits, Garam's in the pits.
Yeah, it's very odd though, as you can see, because it's dry for some parts of the circuit, like no rain at all, and then it's wet for some parts with rain. Like it's so if you can imagine this to everyone who's watching, from corner 1 to I would say the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit, as he's going to change tyres now, he is.
He's changing tyres.
Oh, but he's just disconnected.
He's disconnected.
Oh, that's awful timing. But yeah, so
still changing tyre.
Yeah, but from going from corner 1 to the hairpin, it's a little drizzle, and then from the corner just after the hairpin, it's pretty much dry. If that makes sense. No rain until you get back to the last corner. So it's a 50-50 really to see who's actually what you want to look at it, because you think about it and say a quarter of the circuit's dry, and I would say no, half the circuit's dry, half's wet. Like raining now, so that's the only thing I've got to look at this in the respects of. But great racing from everyone today to keep it on the circuit and keep racing as good clean as they are. There's no real battles anymore, but
no.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Agam disconnected. He was another person who was going onto the dry tyres. Dunlop, I think that was a pit lane lap, so we can't really judge his race pace at the moment with that lap time. But I think at the moment he's gaining time to the leaders. I mean, he's gaining quite a bit of time. The leaders, Marco falling back a lot. So, all 2 drivers in the pits. Duke Martin, he's still on his jacks on my screen. He's racing with jacks on. I don't know if you can see that on your screen. No, he's gone back to normal.
No, he's fine on mine. But no, I've just read something here. So I'm just going to read this to you. F1 bosses have made a final offer to teams for a sliding scale budget cap, reducing from $145 million to $130 million over the next 3 years. The F1 proposal a cap of $145 million, which is dollars. In 2021 to be $140 million in 2022 and then $135 million in 2023 to 2025. But the teams in the next couple days will vote for the idea.
Ooh, so we have to wait and see what the teams think.
Yeah. But that's so basically the suggestion is they will have 145 million to spend next year, then 140 the year after, and then between 2023 and 2025 the budget will be going down from 140 million to 135.
So we've got to really think. So like the top teams such as Mercedes and Ferrari and maybe Red Bull and Renault probably wouldn't want price capping, but the teams such as Alfa Romeo, Williams, or AlphaTauri, they'll probably want a price cap per season. So we have to wait and see what the verdict is, and I think that will go through because there's many more teams that want a what's it called, price cap each season. That'll be very nice for the teams, but then.
So quickly, just for the two cars in front, Boston and Dalavan, we are looking. Sorry, David.
Both teammates.
And has David done it?
Out.
Nope. David's kept the position. But yeah, I totally agree with you with the F1 thing.
I think. I mean, Mercedes have made. What would you call it? like a little bit of a threat, saying that if you put a price cap on it, then they would have to get rid of jobs, because there's a lot of people working at Mercedes, and they said they'd have to get rid of jobs for them to manufacture parts and buy parts and make parts. So I wonder how that plays out between Mercedes and the FIA.
Yeah, so that's what the teams. Yeah, that's what the teams want, because they want to make it shorter. Because already the cap is $175 million in the 2021 regulations.
And that's a lot of money. What is it, 30 million?
Yeah, it's 30 million more than some of the lower down teams want it to be. So.
What I'm thinking is that including, like, if a driver crashes. Because I think a full rebuild will be over, €6 million. Is that also including with everything? So they have to buy new parts, buy a brand new engine, buy a brand new gearbox, as the two teammates have a little bit of a squabble, not able to make a move. So I'm just wondering, is it going to be that on top? So let's say Alex Albon has a crash and he loses his front wing. Is that going to go into the budget as well?
But here they go then, as they quickly out the last corner. Yeah, I don't know. It might do. As here he comes in, does Boston Row. Good exit this time. And I think with the inside line this time, a little bit further back, but he will brake probably later. He does, and he's done it. Boston Row through he goes on David, up to P6 he goes. As David makes a tiny mistake. But yeah, back to what we were saying with the F1. The top three teams in a given year will be permitted only 70% of the total allowance. That's the money. The teams who finish fourth, 80%, then 5% increase until the 9th and 10th teams, who will be allowed 105% and 110% of the total. So if you're so say for example it's Williams and Haas who are the bottom two, right? Haas will be allowed 175 million plus 5%, and Williams will be allowed 175 million plus 10%. In short,
Okay.
this means the teams who finished last will be allowed 40 more percent more aerodynamic research than the following year than the top team. So basically, they're allowed more time in the tunnel. I think that's what that means.
Yeah, I think that's what it means. Oh, Lonnie making a little bit of a switchback move and gets past David. Quite an easy move there in the end. I mean, David was going quite well in this race today, but now he dropped back a lot now. So the top two who were in this race and now just fallen back quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it might be changed a little bit, the budget cap. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one at the moment because many teams don't like it, and some teams, most teams actually do like it. Because I think Mercedes spent almost 450 million in the 2017 season just on the car, team, the whole thing. But also, I mean, how is that going to count? Is that going to account for drivers' wages, the car rebuilds,
It
the
doesn't say at
wages
the
for the
moment.
staff?
It doesn't say, so...
Are they going to have to negotiate for a lot less contracts? So let's say Hamilton's getting paid 40 million a year now. Is he going to have to go down to 20 million a year?
Oh, poor him.
Because of this price
Poor him.
budget. So
Yeah, I know what you mean, but like, I watched the video. If you didn't watch it, there was like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, F1 did a vodcast, which is like a video cast thing, and they had Christian Horner with the team principal of Red Bull on, and he pretty much said what they should do at the end of each season, right? Which Racing Point has done. They should go to like McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, or Mercedes, and go like Williams, for example. Go to McLaren, or go to like Red Bull, and go. By the way, here's 5 million. Can you give us some parts to your car? And he said that was, you put this rules and regulations down to 2023 or 24, and after this season, some of the lower down teams just buy some parts off the bigger teams so they can like use their like kind of old cars, if that makes sense.
yeah, I mean, Racing Point did it, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's what he wants.
They basically just copied the 2019 Mercedes car.
Yeah.
So
the event is leading for some. So Dalavan must have made a mistake.
Dalavan, Beza, I mean, the event is there. I mean, what's happened there?
We have 9 minutes and 18 seconds to go before the race finishes, but oh my goodness me, we don't know what happened there. Dalavan was leading by 3 seconds, and then somehow on my screen, literally like 2 minutes ago, like 30 seconds ago, it just looked and it was Ciaventa now leading.
As Aaron Racy said, can this be Ciaventa's first win in Gavra?
Is this his first season in Gavra or second season?
I think it's second, isn't it?
I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, there's a lot of things going on. But what I think, just a side note, if Gavra gets bigger than it is, right? So, if Gavra gets thousands of drivers, what we should do, and I think this is going to be something we would back massively, is maybe to go to different games. So, like, have like one championship which is like 20 drivers or 30 drivers, and put it on iRacing. Have one on Assetto Corsa Confessione when that comes on PlayStation in a couple of months. Put some races on, not F1. What I think another game on like Forza, so some Xbox guys can come and join us. It'd be quite nice, I think.
Just having a look back through the stream, which is quite handy. So both Dalavan and Beza both went into the pits, and Ciaventa stayed out, and that is how he's in first place. So they both went into the pits on lap 20, and that's how Ciaventa is now in the lead.
And there you go. Aaron says could it be Ciaventa's first Gavra win?
And it is raining really badly now, so I just want to see, because they went into the pits about 4 laps ago. Have they got they've got dry tyres on. They're not going to be catch-ups to Ciaventa, are they? So I think Ciaventa has maybe got this in the bag. I don't want to do the commentator's curse, but it's looking quite likely at the moment. Bez is getting a little bit of battle with Aguilera at the moment. For a track side with them. About 7 minutes remaining. James, you will be doing your drivetheday.org in about 2 minutes. So
okay.
Have a think.
You can do. As Aguilera here, right now has is it Boston? No, Aguilera's right behind Beza here. But as you can see, Aguilera here is really trying to get on the dry line, the only bit of line that there is left of the dry line, as you can see. Because when you looked a second ago, Beza was going on the wet line, and Aguilera was going on the inside the corner to try and keep out off the wet. So there must be something there that he knows that we don't, if that makes sense. That it kind of means something there. And just to give to everybody, if you are watching and you want to come back and watch this GT amazing racing next week, where are we next week, I hear you ask? We're in the Red Bull Ring. Even shorter circuit, but absolutely good racing there in Austria. Should be good fun. And that's where F1 start their calendar this year. Very good, very good, very good.
The Red Bull Ring will be a great race.
It will. And then straight after that we go to Brno, which is a lovely circuit. If you've never been to Brno, not many straights, but a lovely circuit nonetheless. My goodness me, Brno's good. It's more I'd class Brno as more of a motorbike circuit than a car circuit. But they did do, I think, like a 6 hours of Brno, so I don't know. The cars, so. And then that's it. We then go for another break, and then we go to Fuji, which is 2 hours. Le Mans, Spa, Silverstone and Spa. Now I have to check if I'm free for them, because I don't know if I will be, but I'll have to check if I'm free for any of the races coming up, because stuff's happening. Yeah.
I wasn't gonna be, but then I managed to find out that we didn't got our GCSEs at all. So
yeah, I might not be this time. You might be, but I might not be. So we'll go.
I'm going to sit about 2 hours worth of Fuji.
Oh, car gone off. A car has gone off.
I wonder who that is. That is. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it was only GM. It was only him. No, it was a white car, so I don't know who it was. Yeah, it wasn't Aguilera because he's still behind Beza.
He was fighting Beza.
Wait, who's his teammate? Let me have a look.
Aguilera goes onto gravel there, just going a little bit wide.
Aguilera Aguilera's not normally here, is he? I think he's back to his teammate, right? I think he's no, look, Pet Biv. It was Pet Biv. There we go. Pet Biv going off.
Yeah, Pet Biv went off. There you go. James, it's 4 minutes. So, would you like to do your drivetheday.org?
Yeah, my drive of the day. I'm going to give it to a guy who's had the strategy bang on today. Ciaventa. It's going to be his first win of the season. He's raced a good race today. It's not maybe been the best race in terms of action, but in the strategy-wise, I've got to give it to him.
That's been a great race from him today. So your driver of the day has been Ciaventa, nominated by James. But if other people feel like there is a different driver of the day, please put it in the comments section. I'd like to hear from people who are watching, seeing who their driver of the day is, watching this race. So we've got about 3 minutes and about 13 seconds remaining in the Nurburgring GP here today. We've already said what we've got up next in about a week's time with Red Bull Ring. Should be a fantastic race there. But we're just going to wait for Ciaventa to work his way around. Lucas says Ciaventa as well is the driver of the day.
Well, basically we have 7 corners to go, and then we will be on our last lap of the race. Well, yes. Well, will we?
Do
No, we
you
won't.
see Venter a little bit of a moment? See
What?
Venter okay? He's lost 3 seconds in 3 corners. So he's lost a lot of time to Dalavan, so I don't know if there's a problem. He has got the wet tyres, Dalavan is on the dries, and the track looks absolutely soaking wet. He's lost 11 seconds to his best.
Oh, he's twitching. Oh.
I think he's got a problem.
He's coming in.
He's coming into the pits.
Oh my goodness me.
See, Venter's coming into the pits on the final lap of the race. Almost just hit the barrier going into the pit lane.
White flag out, by the way.
Venter is not going to finish in first place. Dalavan on the final lap, as he gets the white flag this lap, has taken the lead.
Can we just put the speedometer on quickly and just go to Venter's car? I'll be very interested to see this here. Oh, he did have enough. He did have enough fuel, so it's not fuel. It's damage related there. No, it was nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
What?
What? I don't know what's going on with him.
I don't know why he came in there, but he's going to be down in third. Oh my goodness me.
Bezza's going really slowly as well. He's struggling quite a bit as well. I don't know what's going on.
Lucas says Ciaventa drive today, so there you go. We've kind of suggested it's Ciaventa, but no, we can't. I don't know. It's interesting though to see that though, because Ciaventa shouldn't have come in. He was looking fine. It looks like it's drying up now. Oh, he goes wide, Bezza. Oh my, very wide there. That little section of the track. It's interesting to see what happens. Really, it is. But there we go. Time has now finished. Well, actually, no, we don't. We have 24 seconds to go. So, will this is the question? No, Dalavan won't cross the line in time. I spoke too soon on that one.
Final lap, about 15 seconds remaining here, is probably going to take the win here. Bezza in second place, 10.3 seconds behind, but Ciaventa, I just don't know why. He went into the pits, he was leading the race, and then all of a sudden we saw, you can see he's having a problem right here.
Dalavan does now, into the chicane, so Dalavan, about to be overtaken, and he has been. But that's a lapped car, so that doesn't really matter for Ciaventa. Oh no, it does, it's David. It's David overtaking him, so he's not going to get a podium here. Oh no, but can we go to Dalavan? He's just come out of the last corner. Dalavan, out the last corner.
Dalavan on the last straight, and he's come across the line in first place here at the Nurburgring GP for the Ginetta Evolutions GT3 Gavra Racing, and he's taken the win on the final lap. And what a race he's done today, in first place now. Bezza will also cross the line right now in second place, about 10 seconds behind the race leader, but it really is chucking it down right now. David just coming through the final few corners out of the chicane is going to finish. He is going to finish in third place. Ciaventa's up to fourth place again.
I think that may mean, let me just go to look at the championship very quickly. It does. David's now your new championship leader. Ciaventa now comes across in fourth. Very well done to Ciaventa. Still fourth is a very good job for Ciaventa. Can't be too disappointed, but at the same time we can, because what happened?
What did happen?
There's the rest of the cars now come across, so Duke Martin has just crossed and Boston Row now just crossing, so very nice indeed.
Duke Martin across the line in sixth place. Boston Row going to come across the line. Lonnie just about far behind, to about second, but separates them. So Lonnie is going to finish in 8th place.
And then we're just waiting now for we're just waiting for one more, which is Dunlop. We're waiting for Dunlop, who is the last car to finish, I think. Martin says get in there. Brian, sorry, says get in there. So, well, whoever Brian is, there you go. You've well done, mate.
Just looking at Delavan at the moment as our race winner here today, Nurburgring GP. What a great race he has had.
Yep, and out the last corner now. To the line comes Dunlop, and that'll be it. Dunlop is your last car course. Yeah, very good race from Delavan, as you say. Perfect, I'd say. Started, I think, third. Yeah, started third and won the race. So very nice race from him today. Could be the driver of the day. Wouldn't class it as driver of the day. As there you go, Dunlop has crossed, and that is it. All the cars have finished.
So that is the end result here for you today, the Nurburgring GP for the Ginetta Evolution Series for the GT3s. What a fantastic race there today as Delavan crossed the line in first place, with Beza in the second, David in third, Ginetta in fourth, which we thought was going to win the race, but unfortunately just didn't. Aguilera in fifth, Duke Martin in sixth, Boston in seventh, Lonnie in eighth, Dunlop ninth, and Marco 10th. Well, thank you very much everyone for joining us tonight. It's been a thrilling race here in the rain. Bit of a different one. You know, we've had quite a few dry races this season, not really any wet races, but it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, James, for joining tonight.
That was fine. Anytime.
So hopefully we can get another great race next week. We are at the Red Bull Ring, same time next week.
Oh, Pet Beav did not finish. So Pet Beav apparently did not finish. Interesting. Nice.
Quite interesting.
So yeah, just quickly again, it's Delavan, Beza, David, Ginetta, Aguilera, Duke, Martin, and then it's Bostamo, Lonnie, Dunlop, Marquis is 10th. So there's your top 10, Mr. Top 10. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, there you go.
So thank you very much everyone for joining us, and I hope you have a great evening, have a great sleep. Stay safe from what's going on in the world, and hope you'll be able to join us next week for the next Ginetta Evolution race at the Red Bull Ring. If you haven't, please go follow all our social media down in the description. Please subscribe to our channel for more content, as we have a lot more championships going on in this league. And hit like button, me and James really do appreciate it. It really does help us out. But thank you so much everyone, and goodbye.
And yeah, goodbye everyone.